Alright guys, I'm going to do this video again because I just realized I should really show this video. Plus I just wanted to get this video out there. So I'm going to link this in the description. I'll figure out how to do that and I'll do that. So this video has only 65,000 views. It's been up since 2009. And it's the craziest thing that you could possibly see in science. So I'm going to play a little of this. Hopefully I won't play too much and they won't like get me or whatever. But I'm not really interested in showing even his results. So he kind of does the Michelson-Morley experiment and see how he finds a good interference pattern. And then he shows how when the camera is going horizontal to the horizon, nothing moves. See how nothing moves. Look, that's how it's going horizontal in the room. No interference pattern. So it kind of shows there's no ether, but that's not that exciting. Look what happens when he turns the camera up and down. Check this video out. I'm only going to show a little bit of it. So, because you're going to get the point real quick here. See this, look. Why is that moving? Why is that moving? There's an up and a down to life. See how it's moving up and down in the room? And all of a sudden you're getting 11.5 peaks, he calls it. This thing will flip through. Why does my cursor work?
We are now able to see the construction of the interferometer at the point where the interruption of the moving fringes occur. The second point, where a skill set of the fringe movement happens, is positioned at the opposite
Alright, anyway, so
side of the 180 degrees
what up, dude? So he flips the experiment 180 degrees, and that's all he does. So he kind of explains that here. So when he's first doing that experiment, it's just going this way. Okay, and then he flips it so it's going north to south. And that's when it's dramatically different. When it's going north to south, it's doing something. It flips through 11 or 11.5 or 12 peaks. And then he starts going back the other way. So he must just be spinning it. And when it goes like this. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then it flips back the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But yeah, I mean, but just watch the video if you don't want to take my word for it. But, you know, as far as it relates to this video, what I want to show is that this is further proof of this upward forces and downward forces in nature. Things don't fly to the side in this world. Things fly up and things fly down. That's the furthest thing from relative world that I could possibly imagine. So we don't live in a relative world. There is something that is causing you know, smoke to go up. Here we go. So what's causing this? What's causing these effects? What makes flame want to shoot up? Sorry, my computer's going slow. So let's go to some of my pictures. We won't wait for them. So look, what is causing the smoke to go straight up? Always light a cigarette, point your cigarette in any direction, and that smoke is going to go straight up. I mean, certainly if you blow it out, it'll go out, but what does it do? Up. Okay? And it always doing this. If you go forward, it still does this. You know? Just like in this, like an artist depiction of wind, which is this, you know, or this. It's an artist depiction of how wind is traveling. This one I turned right side up, you know, so I can show you that it's like a John 3:16 or a 3:9:6 here, or a 2-ball cane. Okay, but this is energy travel going up, feeding back, 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 up. There's a really good little meme here for, I don't know if the guy quite understands what he just put together there, but that's pretty cool. So this is smoke travel. So smoke travel, flame travel, is up. Clouds are moving up. Water is vortexing and whirlpooling down. Okay? It's going down. I mean, unless you get a water spout, then it's like the air is, so powerful. It's taking the vortex down here is at the very bottom, and then it's shooting it up. It's pulling out. Here, the pulling down part is way down here. This is actually the top of the tornado, way up here, right here. So all these are about the same. So when you see a wave crash, you're seeing a whipping. So if the whip goes, see how the radio wave, as the radio wave tightens, see how it tightens? Eventually it tightens too much for its own geometry, and then it breaks. And that's why you get like a whip, you're going here, and then it's going to hit this snapping point where it's just too much. You've compressed too much big movement into a small space. So you take a big movement and then you collapse it. And that's what a strong punch is too. You take a bigger movement and then you reduce it, squeeze it, pop it out. And so this is what waving. So these are the orbital modes of particles in water. I would say they're not particles, they're mini interlocking torus fields. Everything's the same. So the smallest thing is the same as the biggest thing. And they're all just these apples of energy travel. Or when you see it move, they move as the scroll locking. But if it could sit in place, you'd see it as an apple or as a human being. If you see me, you're just going to see me. If you see me in my life, you're going to see me connecting with other people, connecting with the environment, moving around. My life is in motion. And so that always gets back into where I say Ken Wheeler is best for describing this stuff in static. If you want to understand how field geometry works with standing still, Ken Wheeler is doing the best job of describing it. If you want to understand how energy travel is moving, it is in motion like the lives we live, then scientific space, capital letter LEE, scientifically speaking, is his channel. So scientifically, so what these are is this is just one big field, and it's all moving the same. And then as the field runs into this, then this becomes smaller. Then the energy grows, okay, and it tightens up. So everything's always vortexing. I have that here. Someone actually did this. I didn't even read it before, but actually this is done really well because you see it has the two lines. He has one is solid and one is dotted. But look, see how the two are coming out together. A male and female line coming out together. And as they spiral out. And so, when you're looking, this is very accurate. This is, like because he has it, so they're graduated up like that. And that's essentially exactly what I'm doing in all my zodiacs. I just kind of do it on a number thing, so it doesn't, it does, though. It does. The spiral is exactly the same. It just would be harder to make it look that smooth. But that's just really very accurate. This is really interesting. This is definitely a good, I remember I'll link this one in there too. What I need to do is get a whole, but basically what I want to get at is just, showing the same thing, this is water travel, which is wind travel, which is aether travel, which is electron travel, which is matter travel, because matter only moves along energy. Okay? And everything is just energy or matter. Matter sits there and gets moved by energy. Like if this is a big, shake them up and they're like you were drawing. This is a big Etch-a-Sketch, it's the material is just like the matter. It just sits there. It's not doing nothing. But you get in there and you bring in your little magnets and then you make a picture. And that's the energy. The energy affects. The energy moves the matter. And so as the energy moves up, it creates things like this. stone wall. You know, the energy is moving up. It's not pushing together. You know, not pushing together from underneath. Or like, I mean, obviously there are some volcanoes, but those volcanoes, they get burnt down because they're a lava tube. That's different. But in a volcano, you get the lava moving up here and then boiling out here. Here, there's no such thing here, and it wouldn't make it really grow anyway. That's why volcanoes would be the biggest mountains in the world, and they're not. They're tiny usually. So some of them are really big. So, but this, you're actually getting the mountain, you could say, to grow by the wind is whipping along the side of the mountain here, and those forces are creating, you know, deposits and growth. Where it's more simple than that. This is an aether field, and just as a tree grows, it just doesn't grow as fast. Just as a tree grows, it's like filling in the pixels. Matter just kind of gets carried up the energy field. And so this matter is getting carried up these energy fields. Okay? And maybe you want to think about it that's happening more in a slower kind of mechanical process, and that's fine. But it's doing it either way. You know, dumb it down in your science, and it's still doing the same thing. You know, this is why nobody in the scientific world or the smart world or whatever will argue with me. You know, like my old best friend has a degree in physics and in law. You know, I mean, he won't talk to me. I won't talk to me in fucking Romans. You know, but this is what's up, and this is what, you know, or is basically hidden from us dumb shits. You know, so. What do we cover? So you get a round object drop into the water, you're creating the ripple effect. You get your 9 in the middle, you're doubling sequence 1, 1.5 coming out, or it's your rotation on 1.5. And so this is what just describing. And so when you drop a rock into the water, that could be poking my finger into the air, or you know, it's just, you know, the energy is just traveling. You know, and the wave that is the rock is hitting the wave that is the water, and those two are interacting with each other. But essentially, it's just all matter or energy. You know, this is the energy moving. This is matter, and then matter was moved by energy, and to disturb this other matter, and then, but it's a waveform. That's why this is reacts as a field, because it's a wave or it's a field. Water is a field, air is a field, aether is a field, and material is a field. And so if we could understand these as more of like computer fields in a way than material. So there's not like, it's not so much of like an atomistic material accumulated world. It's like a fabric of forces. And the major one is here, or I mean, your major ones are magnet, 5, and then 4 up here. And then as these two, you know, interact, they create the water, basically, you know, which is the now moment, which is us, you know, I mean, here's another, so this shows how there's a lot of strength right here in the column. So it's columning right up and then smashing into the ceiling, and you can feel it then. It's trying to turn into a tree or whatever. Okay. Because what is a tree of life? A tree of life is just a big torus field, but everything is a torus field. Or you can see that as a scroll too. Can you see the scroll in there? I don't know if you can see that. It took me a little while to quite see the scroll, you know. So let's show a couple people. These are a couple of my ladies I found. There's a really nice, look at how this is just shows just so delicately the energy flowing, or the matter traveling along those so delicate ether lines. In this case, they're delicate, you know. I mean, if I threw my hand through there, it would wipe it all away in a second. It's very still, you know, and you can see how even in the stillest place, aether is just waving up, waving up. It's like water waves this way, the aether waves up, and the matter waves down. Aether waves up, matter waves down. And then water waves the crosswise. So when you're looking at energy travel coming up and a flame coming up, it's the same. So always energy travel. That one I didn't write the best. So if you had your aether up here, you have your matter here. Different colors, but I'm getting lazy right now. Here's your water. The combination of electricity, aether, and matter. If you got a little more aether in your water will float. If you got a little more matter in your water will sink. Facts. I mean, what I'm saying is that's the best I see it today. I'm an open-minded dude, though. I'm ready to change my mind. Look at this stuff. Look at these mountains. They get lifted up. What's lifting them? Who lava down here is lifting them up? Now, they're getting even more power when they're getting up above the clouds. They're growing. These mountains are growing. You know, it's like mountains obviously change in size. How do they get here? They grow here. You know, Devil's Tower, you see it looks like the base of a tree, and some people think these were giant trees. And nothing saying that I know that they were. Maybe they were on a different energy level. We might end up to be just like little things, you know, giants walking around the land. But they don't need to be. They don't need to be trees because mountains are trees. You know, everything is trying to grow in the same energy travel. Everything is trying to turn into. Mountains are just doing it in the lowest way because of they're so material. They're getting pulled down. So you know, they're getting built up from this travel going up, 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 up. But then as the wave crashes back, it falls down back on itself. Wave crashes down. And whether that's wind blowing up the mountain that does that, what wind is. Wind is what I'm saying. It's aether. There's that's the movement itself is energy. Movement itself is energy. Okay, so this is electrically being lifted, 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 lifted. And then the material is always pulling down, pulling down, pulling down, pulling down. And the material is lifting up, lifting up, lifting up, lifting up. Okay? So if you put something in here, let's say it's a feather, it might lift up in the air if there happens to be a lot of strong aether pull right there. But if there's none, if it's in a vacuum, per se, or whatever, you know, or making vacuums is kind of a bullshit thing, it'll just drop straight down as fast as anything will in that respect. But it's because everything is going to go down, you know, and that even that feather is going to drop straight down if the aether can affect it. But if the aether can affect it, it's going to go up if there's enough aether energy there. We've all seen a feather sometimes go up. A high energy point of travel. But then if you watch the feather, it'll go up and then it'll spin back and float back down the ground. I mean, it might end up eventually catching a whole bunch of runs and like smoke and going way up into the air, get stuck up into the clouds and stay up there for a long time. But what goes up must come down, you know, unless you're aether itself. And that's why when you die, you do, like your spirit's going up and not coming back down, you know, and when you die, your body's going down and not coming back up. You know, until it arcs out in the right way again, and then you appear again. Right? You know, is that deniable? Am I talking crazy there? You know, it's like to me, I say like this stuff is so extremely logical. And then, to get this labeled as such a kook, it's like, what the fuck kind of world we live in? So, what's crazy is that, I was just I was science boy, 111 before all this. So here you can see that double and really how this one's actually forming the same as a person. Just like trees a lot of times look like people, and mountains can look like people, because what does a person look like? A person looks like the whole thing, fractal, so above, so below. So a person looks like a tree, looks like a little gopher, looks like a giant bear, looks like a mountain, because everything is traveling along double halo helix energy flow. Always, everything's doing it. Okay, all the trees on this mountain are doing it, and the mountains are doing it, and the air is doing it. The clouds are doing it. The clouds are so light that misty water is getting stuck up because it's going up, and then it's spiraling, and then it gets stuck in this different level of the ceiling of the sky. And it's stuck up there. Things just don't go up, 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 up. Only aether would. And it's only going up to wherever aether gets to. These clouds just sit here. Because everything in this world is matter, but energy's moving through it. It's moving through it this way. It's moving through it this way. Moving through it this way. But you got energy moving this way, and then the material, the counterforce pulling back this way. And then the two together, and actually the counterforce is actually stronger against us. That's why everything will eventually hit the ground. So you get a lot of sideways, back and forth motion, and a lot of water in the crossroads. All right, I think we covered most of it. Covered that one. Here's the harp string. So a harp string, same. All this got the same conjugate geometry, as Ken Wheeler would say. Conjugate, so it's like the same. They're coming together. They're conjuncting. Everything is different but the same. What's the same about these things? What's different about flame and smoke? Smoke won't burn you, flame will, but they're both following aether lines. Okay, smoke is kind of like an after effect. Flame is, that's why a flame will shoot straight up, because it'll like increase the power, and it'll shoot straight up. Or electricity is so powerful. Electricity is when even when you get static electricity, it pops like that. That's like electricity on fire. Like that's like electricity. That's like when they talk about nuclear power and stuff, what they're actually talking about is like lightning power, or when fire is so hot it's bursting into electrical. And I bet you see that around like volcanoes and stuff, is that this stuff gets there's so much electrical in there that it's just a thunderstorm and a fire is going simultaneously, because they're connected. In a rainstorm. I mean, one might be putting one out or whatever, but they're all the same thing. I think I pretty much covered what I wanted to cover there. So smoke travel, double halo helix up, double halo helix up. So we got wind, double halo helix. We got water. It's going to do the same thing. Okay, it's going this way though. It's going to get squeezed up, and then it's going this way. I mean, it goes both ways, especially if it goes in this way. But it's funny to see how it's going to do the same thing. This one doesn't, because of the way that water works out, it's like heavy on itself. You'll see the whirlpools and stuff down here in the water, and all the action down here. I mean, of course, the wave breaks up here. But it's the same thing. It's push and then spirals. And so it can't spiral up, it'll spiral sideways and be a whirlpool, or it'll force down and be an undercurrent. You'll get pulled down. But it's the same thing. It's pushing, it's waving this way, and then whipping back this way. And so you're creating these change in orbital motions of the water. Oh, that's neat. They actually show that. That's what they're showing here. You see how it's less. Now it's turning into a whirlpool, and now it's turning straight. That's how smart I am, guys. I decipher this thing. So yeah, this is actually saying exactly what I'm saying here, that water is traveling in a double halo helix wave. You can see that right here as it's moving. The halo is just turning sideways, but it's halo, 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 halo. And then here's your seeing more of the halo turning into a helix because it's going to have to go somewhere up here or break out. So we saw, there's water breaking. Boom. Okay, it's that orbital motion pattern. It's the same as here. And this. What are these doing? They're coming up. They're coming up. If they can keep going, rock's too heavy, just like the wave too. It's too heavy, so it will fall off. It'll fall off. It'll fall off. In some places that are really still in the world, you will see these crazy like columns that will form. And sometimes they'll be really geometric. And they're like, whoa, people built those, or blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. Static electricity is building that. Static electricity is building everything. The aether field builds everything. But you can see up, and this way, up. If you gave these long enough, they would form kind of like circular rings. But just kind of the way that matter gets pulled so violently, and electricity can't really hold this thing in place long enough to form these big arches. But I bet you they're formed somewhere. You'll see big arches. You'll be looking through there and they'll think, oh, the wind made that. The wind didn't make that. I mean, it might have helped form it, but it's electricity formed that arc. So mountains are growing. Rocks grow. And also the moon does something with rocks. It pulls the hardest, gemstoniest rocks to the surface. Like when I was in the desert, I could see the moon was out. I was low. I was on the Salton Sea. We're 100 miles below the sea level. I could feel the rocks getting pulled up this flat, like a lake bed almost. You could almost see the little moonstones being affected, interacting with the moon. Amazing. So just like here, these rocks are affected. These are affected by the sun. That's why you see the sun right over one of these mountain peaks the right time of year, and you'll realize, well, okay, these are moving along the same geometric lines. So all these geometries are the same. So this is a sideways view of the smoke. These whirlpools are in here. Here's the whirlpool, you see? See how it's two lines coming out and whipping around? Do you see? Do you see? All right, I think I showed pretty much all of them. I don't know if I missed anything. I missed the train. Probably showed the train right away. Look, see, look. Oh, that's because some wind came and carved that out. No, energy's higher here and higher here. You're by a river, so there's going to be a lot of energy flow. So these cliffs, they lift it up. They lift it up because they're by this water. Yeah, the water probably has its way of keeping itself down because it's holding itself down. But this is getting lifted up beside the bank. This isn't like the land was up here and the water wore it down over time. The water's always been here at water level or whatever its water level, approximately. The water stays basically where it's going to stay. And then the ground is going to lift up. And then later on, when this water leaves, when this gets high enough, this mountain, this would be like a mountain stream, like the water be coming out of the mountain stream. And then this will eventually not really be a river anymore. It'll be a mountain stream or a mountain itself. And then the river will be pushed out somewhere else. But you can see how, look, I mean, how else does this get grown? Straight up like this, straight up. And man, I haven't done any sort of deep search. Man, I was just looking at water pictures, and I was like, I might as well throw a few of mountain on there, call this Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's like, it's so easy to show this, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so easy to show these proofs. It's like I have the easiest job in the world is to show this double helix energy flow, which I think is the most important thing in our lifetimes. It's absolutely, you can't. We're showing the conjugate geometry of everything, of us, of God, of, it's the whole deal, whatever. And so, it's the base, it's the starting point. Once we figure this stuff out. We figure out what we really are. We figure out a way to communicate with each other. And then we can start building in this Minecraft game that we all find ourselves in, Um, we don't have to be subject to, we don't have to languish in the language provided for us. We can start to kind of, open up our minds and see. Oh yeah, I started with this interferometer experiment. So hopefully this doesn't give me, I'm claiming fair use on this because I just want to comment on it. But I'll link it so you can go check it out. I think it hasn't been getting a ton of things lately anyway. So hopefully this guy will like. This is, literally. This is just mind-blowing stuff. What scientist can deny this? Eh? What can you say? You can't, man. You can't deny this. So it's absolutely insane. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And, why don't I leave you with one of my funny memes? Since I already almost maybe if I here. Look, you see that? Look. Oh, there's the building. There's Russia. There's the top of the streets. Oh, really? Look. It's all underneath. That's all buried. This is an artist's depiction, but they're finding stuff like this. They're going down and they'll dig down and oh shit, there's all storefronts here. Oh, but there's top of a building coming up. And so, granted, it's like anything taken too far, anything can be used as a psyop or whatever. So, but Tartaria is definitely something worth researching. What was the one I wanted to finish with last time? I couldn't find it. Oh, here. I believe stuff, Jesus was the gun, the globe was the bullet. They used Jesus to deliver us to the globe, to our new prison. And then dinosaurs are helping keep us there. So is science, and so is the great overseer. The great overseer. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know comments. Thanks, everyone.